Welcome back to LePodcast episode 78. I'm your host, Hoop.
And I'm your host, Saney. And in today's episode, we take a deep dive into Game 2 of the NBA Finals, where the Miami Heat defeat the Denver Nuggets 111-108. We go over every single minute detail that led to Miami's victory and Denver's loss. It's a great listen, and we hope you guys enjoy.
The Miami Heat defeat the Denver Nuggets 111-108 in Game 2 of the NBA Finals.
What a game.
I had Denver in 6,
right
at the start, but I honestly couldn't really visualize Miami losing or Miami winning one. So, in my head, I thought they might take one at home, take a couple here. I didn't expect them to go into Denver Game 2 and steal this.
Especially after, I know they started the game out hot. They had a 10-point lead early in the first. Then Denver cuts it to 3 by the end of the first, and then they just go on that monster run in the second quarter. Shout out to the Heat because they stayed in it. They kept gritting and they are staying in the grind or whatever, and they cut it close again by the time the half ended. But there was a point where I was like, oh, Denver's running away with this. They were hitting shots. They looked like a completely different team from the first quarter. Obviously, the ending of the game was insane. So, we can kind of go over the gist of what happened in the first 3 quarters. But obviously, the fourth is where the fun stuff happens. But, shout out to Miami because it really looked like they lost control of that game. Big props to Kevin Love because he was the difference maker in that first quarter. When I tell you that Kevin Love in that lineup completely changed that Miami squad, big ups to Kevin Love and big ups to Gabe Vincent too. Jimmy Butler, Hoop, I need your assistance.
We gonna get into that.
Hoops, go on Google Maps and type in Jimmy Butler because I can't find him. Can you find him? I need directions.
I don't think I can find him, man.
I need directions to Jimmy Butler. I don't know if I should turn right here, turn left there. I don't know. Where do I find him? Because Jimmy Butler is not playing like a first option. And call me out on this if you'd like, but I want to hear your opinion on this. Has this not been the trend for the last 4 or 5 games he's played in the playoffs where he's just not showing up? Or he's just not aggressive? He's just been chill, and then he'll go into the post-game interview and be like, we're laughing, drinking beers, listening to country. We're not scared. And it's just in the post, and it's like, bro, where's the urgency? Why is Gabe Vincent doing the carrying right now? Where is the urgency from Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, the Morgan Wallen, I think, needs to change the pregame. I think I turned to more of a Meek Mill to try to bring that energy.
I was just going to say dreams and nightmares, something, man.
I think I turned to a Meek Mill. I think Spo's got to go in there and make that adjustment. But as far as Kevin Love goes, when we started off the pod the last game, we said that I said that Aaron Gordon was upsetting to the Heat because they got their offense going with layups. And I believe Miami was out 10-2 to start the game. Shout out Max Strus. But it was not this, bully ball Denver style. Jokic got his way the whole game, but
of course,
I'm talking about the role players just getting easy looks. You got to make those guys earn it. I know Kevin Love drew a charge. I think he had a steal.
Kevin Love was him.
Just those gritty Kevin Love plays. Later in the game, he had a beautiful outlet pass that turned to a Jokic foul. Just those little things that Caleb Martin, with how well he's playing, he just can't provide. It's one of those, those Kyle Lowry, just those gritty vet plays that he provides.
From the jump, got in KCP's head. They got into a little bit of a scrap. Kevin Love is that guy. And listen, I love that you bring up that Aaron Gordon point because I was actually going to bring that up right after you because I know a big stress of last episode was Aaron Gordon just gets his way in the paint, right? Because you have Max Strus and Gabe Vincent guarding him. Kevin Love, people forget Kevin Love is a dog. Now, I know you know because you recently made a video on Kevin Love. But Kevin Love is an underappreciated player, and when he wants to, he's a great defender. And
he's people don't talk about that. One of the best rebounders of all time, pound for pound.
And he is a dog in the paint, bro. Aaron Gordon could not do anything with Kevin Love there. And even if they found their way, he would find a way again, drawing the charge. I heard a cool stat. This is kind of an ESPN stat, but while the announcers were talking, every single year in the playoffs, Kevin Love is top 5 in charges drawn, even in the years he's played limited minutes, right? And that's the kind of players you need. And that's another reason why I love Miami, because they're just full of guys who are willing to put their body on the line. I kind of want to go over a lot of the first half
for sure
highlights.
I was just going to say, I'm sure Kyle Lowry ranks pretty high in those charges.
Of course,
too. I know guys, it's like him, Kevin Love, Blake Griffin. I love guys like that.
That's basketball I like to watch. And that's where like it separates casuals and people who actually like watching basketball because they don't see Steph Curry pulling up from 40 feet. So they're like, oh, this is a boring NBA Finals. But when I see a 38-year-old get thrown to the ground and get back up with his gray hairs being zoomed in on, I'm like, this is basketball. This is the definition of good basketball.
The last thing I want to say, this has nothing to do with the game, but the announcing crew, I don't know how much you heard them like goof around, slip up, because people have been getting on Mark Jackson and Van Gundy's butt because they've always been, in this Breen shadow. So it's the goated announcer crew. People are realizing how nasty they are ever since Jackson left out Jokic on his list.
Yeah,
tonight, he had that why so serious line. I was like,
you see those memes on
leave
Instagram?
That one out. And,
you see those
Mike
memes
Breen,
on Instagram?
hold up. Mike Breen, by the way, when they pulled up Gabe Vincent's 2K rating, he said it's at 75. He's like, he's ranked 75th in 2K.
Bro,
this is genius.
Have you seen those Instagram memes? It's so funny that you bring that up, where it's like, it'll be the three of them, and it's like subtitles of the thing, and it's like Van Gundy talking about some random story about a girl he like missed out on back in like the 80s. Mark Jackson bringing up something random, and at the end it's just Mike Breen, Vincent for 3.
With all due respect, I'd hit it out the park.
And then it's just Mike Breen just listing off the play that just happened. That is, I love that you bring that up. But circling back to the game and kind of like the first half highlights, not a lot of people are going to say this, and I think genuinely we're going to be the only people to shed light on this. Shout out Christian Braun. Shout out to that rookie, bro, because he was not playing like a rookie. He had so many like game-changing plays, whether it was that one-legged fadeaway when the ball kind of came loose and it was between him and Bam, and then he gets that dunk in transition, and then another play where he just gets a steal, like he's diving for the ball and stuff. Man, I loved watching him play. And I was like, this is a rookie. Like this is the first time, I think. Now this might be a bit of an exaggeration. This might be a bit of recency bias, but to my memory, to what I am recalling, I'm not comparing him to Magic Johnson's rookie or anything. This is what I've watched. Okay, remember I'm 21 years old. That was the best performance I've seen a rookie put in the NBA Finals, in terms of like what he did to change the game. Because they gave him some serious minutes, and then like at the beginning of the first and the second, whatever. Like he played crucial minutes. And he made some crucial plays. I've never seen that sort of impact from a rookie in the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
but to be fair, I watched Cavs and Warriors for like 7 years of my life, so that could be a reason. But
I mean, as far as rookie goes, obviously they're usually on bad teams, the good ones. So it's very rare it's for a non-lottery pick rookie to be getting burned, because a lot of times a coach is not willing to play them. So he played well up until he doubled Duncan Robinson on a drive to the rim and left Gabe Vincent wide open. I was like, what are you doing? And then Gabe Vincent gave him that little mean mug. He's like, what are you doing, dog?
No, but he's a rookie. Like I'm expecting him to make those rookie mistakes in the finals. But he showed up for the first bit. Like I respect. I just want to give him his props.
Shout out Christian Braun.
Is it Brown or Braun?
I hear Brown a lot, but it looks like Braun.
Yeah, like what I hear it too, but it's like, where's the O or W?
I don't know. I know Ryan Braun was for the Brewers, and I think he had the same spelling last name.
Maybe if it's Brown, I apologize.
I follow Mike Breen. He says Brown. For whatever that's worth.
It's worth more than Mark Jackson's word, so.
Is there anything else you have for the first half, or can we swing it?
Oh, we could swing it. I mean, other than that, it was just two teams going back and forth with random runs, and then the other team slowly catching up. Like the first half was eventful, but at the same time, like second half is where things got spicy, right?
Well, I think even going deeper into the second half, Jimmy Butler did not look like he wanted to win. He does that. It annoys me when he does that stupid jump stop when he gets into the paint, instead of just going up like he has against Milwaukee and whatnot, and drawing a foul.
It's copy and paste every time. It's copy and paste.
It's a jump stop and look to the near corner, and then he'll like give a little kick out to Bam, who's like 3 feet away, but also surrounded with awful spacing. That stupid jump stop.
Every time.
He played pretty well tonight. It's just aggravating to see him do that. And like through 2.5 quarters of the game, it looked like that he didn't deserve to win.
I completely agree. And even at, like, I've said this so many times. I've said this, and I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, Where is the urgency? Like, I will continue to preach that when I'm watching Jimmy Butler play in these last few games, this last week, maybe even the last 2 weeks. When is the last time you watched a Jimmy Butler game and thought he is being aggressive? Seriously.
I have a series of plays, and it's not necessarily the aggressiveness. It's just the fact that he was selling almost the whole game. This is down when the Heat were down 69-66 somewhere through the third. Kevin Love ripped Jokic, and they got on a fast break. And Butler was ahead of the pack. He didn't have anyone to beat, but KCP caught up to him, got in front of him, and ripped the ball from him. You're not supposed to sell, a great play from a role player like that. Like they're supposed to set you up, and you're supposed to finish. Then Strus caused another turnover on the next play, and they still didn't capitalize. So it was still a 3-point game. And these were Butler mistakes where there was another one I have late in the third. Jokic has a jump hook, then goes for an and one and a left-handed layup all in a row, like 6 points straight. Butler goes down the other end and defers to Cody Zeller after his pick and roll gets snubbed, and he does that stupid jump stop, and he sees Cody at the free throw line, and he's like, go get a bucket, big dog, and he dribbled off his foot. And there was another turnover. So it's just those kind of things together. Like it's not even like being aggressive and asserting yourself right away. I have no issue if you're trying to get another guy going. But when you see Jokic getting his, and you know your team is not doing well, Cody Zeller was struggling against Jokic. Yeah. All those buckets were scored on him.
I don't know what idea was that people were talking about put Cody Zeller in the lineup to help.
No, I understand with the size as far as trying to stop Aaron Gordon. I think that
Kevin Love is the answer, though, not Cody Zeller.
I agree, but I'm pretty sure people thought Kevin Love was going to be hurt because he hasn't played and thought he was hurt.
Fair enough.
But I don't think they're saying he's going to check Jokic. That would be insane.
No, nobody on this planet Earth is checking Jokic. It's about checking the rest of that Denver team. Shout out Jamal Murray for being a ghost until the fourth, by the way. He turned up in the first quarter and then didn't do any. I believe he checked back in the fourth quarter with 10 points. And obviously he got that three. And then another bucket. He ended the game with 15. We're not going to talk about the final possession yet because I do want to talk more about the game, of course.
Well,
but I really do want to.
Plenty more. But...
Yeah, good. But I do really want to circle back to that final possession at one point, of course. But I do also want to say, to me, Jimmy Butler, his best play in the clutch was a lucky play when he did that little stupid jump stop, pulled up for a jumper, and the ball perfectly came back to him. It hit the front of the rim, and then he kicked it out to Caleb Martin for a three.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? That was Jimmy Butler's best play, and that was a lucky play. That was not a Jimmy Butler drawn-up playmaking situation. That was Jimmy Butler doing that stupid little jump shot, and it magically landing back in his hands where he could kick it out to Caleb Martin. Here's the thing. I love Jimmy Butler. I'm not a Jimmy Butler hater, but what the hell is going on, right? It's like you made it this far to get to the finals. Play like you played when you played Milwaukee. Play that same level of aggression, that style. Like you said, and I really want to quote you on this because I've never agreed with you on a point more than what you've just said. He doesn't look like he wants to win. He does not look like he wants to play winning basketball. He looks like he's running a open run at YMCA while he's waiting for somebody to come pick him up, and he has an extra 10 minutes on his hand, and he's just like out there chucking a couple of casual shots. No, seriously. Like what?
I got next.
I really I never looked at it from that perspective. I was just kind of looking at it from an angry perspective as a fan, where it's like I want to watch good basketball from the superstar. But you're right. He doesn't look like he wants to play winning basketball right now.
And I do want to give him credit because he played well at the end. And he did make better than he has throughout the game off of those jump stops. But the aggravating part to me is that he starts shooting those one dribble pull-ups at the end of the game, and they fall. When Jimmy Butler crosses that 3-point line, it's a drive to the paint that does not result in a strong layup. Like I said, it's 75% of the time a jump stop and trying to play make for one of your shooters. There was a point in the game where I looked at Bleacher Report because I like to keep up with the stats mid-game, and he had 10 shot attempts. Strus had 10 shot attempts, I believe, and who else? There was multiple people on the team that were very close to him in shot attempts that were role players. Then, because it looks like he's just trying to get everyone involved and he's trying to be this camp counselor passer. Or it's like, oh, you get a touch, but he's not Jokic. He's supposed to play like Jimmy Butler, not Nikola Jokic. And I look back at the shot separation or the shot differences throughout the whole playoffs, and he's at like 20 a game. And then it's like Bam with 16. Then it's what's his name, Gabe Vincent with like 11, and then the role players are like 6 or 7. So it's just a different philosophy this series. That it got him a win tonight, but I don't think he.
No,
I don't think he
by
could
the
get
way,
away with that again.
they won by 3, but Denver went on an 11-2 run to finish the game. Remember that, folks. Denver was a possession away from coming back after Miami was up by double digits in the fourth. Also, want to quickly correct my mistake. I said Jamal finished with 15. He finished with 18. But is it just me, or did Jokic have the quietest 40 piece I've seen this playoffs? He had 41.
Those suckers were all floaters off the front rim.
Yeah, like, was that not the quietest 40-point game you've seen?
No, he had a couple loud ones. The 3 in a row he had in the third.
No, but
quarter.
I mean in the way, like, you didn't realize he had 40. I did not think he had 41 points.
Yeah, no, it just shoots up there.
That's really funny. Yo, big ups to Bam, who's been consistent in Denver so far in the last 2 games. He's shooting the ball well. I'm not gonna lie, I was never really a big fan of Bam Adebayo's little Kobe fadeaways in the paint. I would hope he would be more aggressive, but it's working. So big ups.
He also shot 2 icy free throws in Denver, which I was very impressed with. The last thing I want to say, because it sounds like we're dragging the Heat when we're just dragging Jimmy. I do want to give the Heat praise, because Duncan Robinson changed the game. He is the reason why the Heat had a spark going into the fourth quarter. He is the reason why the Heat went on a run and Jimmy Butler got himself back into the game. Because if he did not have that I don't know if it's a personal 6-0 run, but he had like at least 8 points in the fourth quarter. And then that brought them back into the game, where Caleb Martin had a 3, Gabe Vincent had a 3, Jimmy Butler had a 3, and then all of a sudden the offense is rolling again. But you mentioned it last episode, and I paid attention to it this time. The first play out of the fourth quarter was elite ball movement, elite player movement by Miami. People sprinting everywhere. It resulted in a Duncan Robinson look where he gave a little head fake. Dude went flying, wide open 3. Bang. Then another play where he cuts back door and gets an and one layup. This was not the mean mug layup. That was a different one. But basically, I have right in my notes, it says sprint on offense and good things happen. Like Duncan Robinson, when he is that good of a shooter and he is running that hard, it sounds so crazy, but like the way he gets paid, he has like a little Steph Curry effect on a defense. You have to close out on him so hard because he's a knockdown shooter. He had another 3 right after that layup baseline that was deep. Like, dude wasn't checking him because he has so much gravity. He's capable.
I have a great question for you. And I don't think anybody's
Duncan
thinking this right now.
Not Steph Curry. Sorry for people who just heard that, but I'm saying you get a little gravity.
No, I
effect.
understand what you mean. Like the same, like a bootleg version of the gravitational effect Steph Curry brings to the court. I 100% agree. Or I understand and I agree with what you're saying. He does, and he has a lot of off-ball movement. Big ups to Duncan Robinson. Speaking of Duncan, though, like while we're on the topic, assuming Tyler Hero, he's expected to be back game 3, I believe. Well, reports are changing every day, obviously, right? So don't take any guarantees from what I'm saying, because it's just what I've last seen on Instagram, which isn't that reliable. But assuming Tyler Hero comes back this series, who are you taking away minutes from, Max Strus or Duncan Robinson?
It would probably be, I don't know, because
it's a good question.
I got to think about that. But
who do you think is more valuable to take away minutes from to give Tyler Hero some minutes? Because it's going to be Strus or Robinson, right?
I think you take minutes away from Strus. And the reason I say that is because as far as the consistency of Duncan Robinson, he has given himself like a playmaking floor. Max Strus took 10 shot attempts tonight. All 10 of them were 3-pointers. Let me fact check that. I'm pretty sure it was all 10. All 10 were 3-pointers. Yes, all 10. But Duncan Robinson, I didn't mention this. After he had a 3-pointer, a layup baseline, another 3. Then he's the reason why Christian Braun doubled for no reason and Gabe Vincent had a wide open 3. That was all Duncan Robinson playmaking. And then he had another left-handed take at the rim where he had that mean mug. And he completely opened up the Miami offense, which is not something that Max Strus is capable of. I know he's a better defender because he's a bigger body. But if he's not hitting shots, he's not useful. So I don't know if Tyler Hero is going to be locked in for 25 minutes the second he comes back. But if you're taking it away from someone, I'd probably take it away from Strus.
I'll be honest. I think he will be locked in.
Strus should start, though. Strus should start.
I think Tyler Hero will be locked in for a big amount of minutes because he's been available to play basketball since the Celtics series. And they've just kind of like resting him and letting him like prep and be fully ready. I see no reason why he wouldn't get at least 20 minutes in his first game back unless he's like playing like utter garbage for the first like 10.
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. I think Duncan Robinson, if anything, even if Tyler Hero doesn't come back, I think Duncan Robinson needs to see an increase in his minutes because he had the third least amount of minutes on the Heat roster with 17. The only two players to play less than him were Cody Zeller and Haywood Highsmith. And I agree. I think Duncan Robinson needs to be on the court more. I wouldn't start him. I do like Strus starting. I do like the Miami Heat starting lineup. I think they do have that they're able to like start the game out hot. They're able to come out the gates hot. We saw it in this game. They started the game out 10-2. But I think Duncan Robinson needs to play more. I think Duncan Robinson should 100% be playing more minutes than a guy like Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, by the way, I don't know where he's been. Should I put that in Google Maps as well? Hey, Siri, where's Caleb Martin?
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not his job,
hey,
bro.
He's I understand it's not his job.
Like that.
I understand. Oh, Siri just went off. I'm cracking jokes. But I'm just saying, I just made the joke to let people know recency bias is a hell of a drug, okay? I love it when role players have great games. I love it when they have great stretches. But, we were talking about, you know what I mean, man. We saw the media. I love Caleb Martin.
He should have a trophy on him.
I love Caleb. Yeah, he should be the Eastern Conference Finals trophy or Eastern Conference Finals MVP for sure. I love Caleb Martin, though, but he was never going to be the guy to push Miami over to the finals.
Bro,
that's my point.
I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about I want to see Cody Martin getting more pick and roll.
That's impossible because that's the twin.
Caleb, you know what I meant.
Oh, Hoop is out here mixing up twins, man.
Bro, I'm tired. We're doing this after the game.
This.
Caleb Martin has thrived off of open looks and a one dribble pull up and
Denver
a nice
won't give him that
drive to the rim. And I'm saying people are talking about put Caleb Martin in pick and roll, let him operate the offense like he's Jimmy Butler. Like just going to that recency bias.
You know what? No. You know what though? Caleb Martin had 3 points, but those 3 points were really important because it was the 3-pointer in the clutch in the corner. So big ups to Caleb Martin. You're doing your job. I'm not a Caleb Martin hater. I'm just making a joke. I just want to stress that to the listeners.
I want to expand on it because the reason why their starting lineup is good to me as well. Like I want Max Strus to start is because when you have a playmaker in Jimmy Butler, a shot creator type in Gabe Vincent, another somewhat capable playmaker in Bam Adebayo. That didn't look like it after you threw that pass off the bottom of the backboard. But you only need a spot-up shooter. The reason why Duncan Robinson works so great off the bench is because when Jimmy disappears on a night like tonight, he can, for whatever reason, right? I mean, they paid him the money to do it. He's just driving to the rack.
You can't be surprised. You actually can't be surprised.
He's taking it to the rack.
He gets paid $90 million. You can't. Yep. And that's the best part. Like, I'm not gonna say Duncan Robinson is underrated or people need to talk about him
this
more.
Is what he's got to do.
He's gotten every single dollar that he deserves. There is no underrated here. Let's be real. There ain't no underrated when it comes to Duncan Robinson. There's rated. He's playing rated right now. That man is rated. And I respect it. All right. But we're not. Let's not bring this there. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying to the media. Let's not bring this. Oh, Duncan Robinson, the underrated guy. No.
He's a genius, though. He brought it out to manipulate the media. It's like, I sat on the bench, collected all my money. Now I'm move.
Yeah.
And the narratives are all in his favor.
I need a big payday this free agency.
Bro,
I earned my bag.
All the Jimmy Neutron memes are back. Like, this is just prime Duncan Robinson.
At this pace, he's going to get a Supermax contract. We're going to see reports is Duncan Robinson ready for a Supermax?
Yeah, he's been hooping. So the
he's
main point. He's
going to get a Mike Conley-esque contract very soon.
Biggest thing on that, I think without Duncan Robinson, the Heat are just not in the game. But obviously, we know with 7 minutes left, this is after Butler turned the ball over to a Jokic floater. I forget what the score was. Jimmy scored 6 straight. He had a 3-pointer in the corner, which was contested. He just rose up, which he's gotten a lot more comfortable with. I don't know if you watch Jimmy in the regular season that much. Like, that is a rarity. But in the playoffs, he's just started to rise up over in the 3-pointer, regardless of contest. He had an and one, and then you have the array of 3-pointers from Caleb Martin. I think Gabe Vincent had one. And people aren't going to point a finger at MPJ because he's become this meme that's kind of just like a spark plug. Dude, he's on a supermax? A supermax?
All I know is
what's
he's
he
getting
on?
paid $180 million.
Yeah.
$180 million 5-year deal. Wait, hold on. Wait. Let's look at this. The amount, how many years is he on a 5-year deal? Every year, he's giving you 1 point in this game because he had 5 points. $180 million for 5 freaking points.
But yeah, we're talking about like the reason why the Nuggets lost. Like that's a pretty big reason, bro.
Yo,
a 6'10" reason.
At this point, give KCP the max, man, because he has 6.
Now, KCP was awful
he was
tonight on defense.
Listen, awful. But listen, I'm obviously making jokes again about MPJ. I know MPJ, like this whole playoffs has been a solid like 15-10 player. I don't know his exact stats, but I'm assuming he's in that range. But again, no, you're right. Like they lost, and again, Jamal Murray went ghost until the fourth. Like he turned up in the first, did nothing for the rest of the game, and then in the fourth, obviously he helped put them back in at respect. But yeah, again, it's the Nuggets looked at tonight in spurts and moments how they looked last year when it was just Jokic and Murray and MPJ were injured, and it was just the Jokic show, where it's like they stay in games because of Jokic, but they can't finish games because at the end of the day, basketball's a team sport.
Jamal Murray looked like prime Facundo Campazzo. You remember him, bro?
Do I remember Campazzo, the best number 7 to ever play in the NBA? Okay, of course I remember. He's turning up in the EuroLeague, by the way.
Shout out
in
Facu.
the EuroLeague. Turning up. He was like a mini Jokic.
I'm sorry, we're going off track. You see that Austin Rivers interview on the podcast talking about...
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly.
He was salty about the Nuggets. He's like, I wanted the Timberwolves. Went from 20 minutes a game to nothing. So you think Austin Rivers changes this series? Basically, Jokic had no help. Is what we're getting to.
Yeah, tonight he had no help, just like he had no help last season because everybody was injured and that team was kind of a mess with just the Jokic show. It's such a weird series to me, and this whole season is so weird where any prediction I make can be completely wrong and I'll look like a complete idiot. I don't even want to make predictions anymore because this whole season has just been a bunch of mysteries and wonders and just random events happening. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to knock Denver. I'm not going to say they're going to play like this for the rest of the series. Of course, I don't believe that. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a weird time to be living in. And it could be like Miami winning in Denver is a big switch for Miami. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, are they also... No, Boston definitely had to have won one in Miami. So they're not undefeated at home either. They both have the same record. I don't know. They're going to go back to Miami. Imagine Miami wins the next 2 at home. That's a 3-1 lead.
Man.
It's a weird... Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird to think about. Like, do you see Miami losing at home?
I think they split. I had Nuggets in 6. I think they... I mean, if you're telling me make predictions, I'm not going to shy away from that. I'll say they split, and then the Nuggets win the next 2. But
really? I think it goes to 7. At this point, it goes to 7.
I got no issue with you saying that. I'm just saying... I'm not going to expect Tyler Hero to be Tyler Hero off rip.
I agree, but they don't even have Tyler Hero.
I'm just I still think the Nuggets are by far the more talented team.
Of course they are. I agree too, but it's not about talent. It's about who shows up at the right moments.
And I can't expect Jimmy Butler to show up. I expect Jokic to show up, and I think he has more of a cushion, Jokic. Like tonight was a night where Murray and Porter and KCP gave out stupid fouls and things happened. Christian Braun didn't guard whoever, wide open threes, just horrible perimeter defense, and they only lost by 3 points. So I love Miami. I think they're just the grittier team, but I don't think the Denver lets this slip to 7. I don't think so. But the one thing that is great about this finals is that there's no perfect team, and there's no perfect team in basketball. So. No. In terms of exposing each other's flaws, you're going to see plenty of that. And I think you could really see maybe some ugly in Jokic soon because I know they kind of eliminated his passing today. And there's going to be a day where those floaters rim out. I think we might have seen that twice in this playoffs, but it could get interesting, yeah.
I will say this to build off that point you made, where there's no perfect teams. The reason why I really enjoy this year's finals is there's no clear-cut answer. I love like sitting and not knowing what to think. Like with the Warriors-Cavs series, we all knew it was the Warriors. It's the Warriors every time, right? And then it's like Warriors-Raptors series, KD goes down. You kind of have an idea, like, okay, this is going to be the Raptors series, right? Celtics, Boston and Warriors, I guess, was kind of back and forth. But this Nuggets and Heat series, to me, in my time of watching basketball, this is the most unpredictable series I've ever watched in the finals. Like, I don't know who to choose as a winner. This is the hardest to make a prediction on in all the years I've watched basketball, which is why I really love this series, because it just keeps going back and forth.
So I think we do need a prediction though, or else you're just copping out of it. I gave one.
I goes in 7. You know what? Heat in 7. I'll say Heat in 7.
I'll be rooting
I think the
for
Heat
it,
in Game 7.
It ain't gonna happen.
The Miami in elimination games are very good. I really like Miami in elimination games. I love Eric Spoelstra in elimination games. I'm gonna go with Miami in 7.
Shout out Duncan Robinson. Is that a wrap for the pod?
We didn't talk about the final possession.
Oh,
Jamal
shoot.
in that whole final possession. You almost let that slip, bro. Come on. Denver, I'm going to ask you this. Denver had 2 timeouts.
My heart dropped.
Left in the game.
Oh, it's at my seat.
Denver had 2 timeouts left in the game. Do you think it was the right choice to not call timeout?
It's hard to draw up a play against a very good defensive team to get someone an open look, like, off rip. And
right.
When you have to reset your offense after, like let's say they try to inbound and they get Jokic setting a screen on Porter. It's hard for him, if he doesn't have a clean look, to then kind of go into another, give it back to Jokic, another dribble handoff. So I don't think they were going to get that much of a better look. I think Murray's step back is probably what you're getting.
Yeah.
And maybe you, in the heat of the moment, it's a little tougher to make that shot. I don't know what the psychological stuff is behind that. So maybe Malone should have called a timeout. But I wasn't upset by it. I don't think it cost them the game.
I agree with you on the point where it's like, I'm not going to knock Malone for not calling the timeout. And I understand why he didn't. But at the same time, I think the better choice would have been to call the timeout, because like you said, I don't think they were going to get like a catch and shoot opportunity, but they also had like 15 seconds left on the clock when Murray had the ball in his hands, right?
I think they should have gave Jokic a touch. Wasn't it just Murray running back and forth through like
and then Jokic set him a screen and then he did the step back.
Yeah.
I think that it should have been call a timeout, get the ball in Jokic's hands, and let Jokic work with it for the last 10 seconds of the game and try and find an open look, because it's Nikola Jokic, right? Like, if there's a guy to set up a play in the final minutes or in the final possession for you to get a better shot, I think it's clearly Jokic for the Nuggets, right? I think letting Murray kind of go crazy with it, again, like, I don't know the psychological, to your point, Murray just kind of ran around with it. Jimmy played great defense. Shout out to Jimmy. He did a great job not fouling with the step back. He just kind of had his hand in his face. Shout out to Murray. I mean, the shot almost went in. Like, it was the best look you were going to get in that situation. But I think a timeout was the better choice, because you had 2 of them. So even if one of them failed, even if like whatever you try to set up failed, you just call another timeout and you figure something out again. Like, you had 2 opportunities to kind of figure something out to get an open shot.
That's fair.
But I don't want to kind of like spin around the same point here. I mean, I think we are nearing the end. I mean, this was a great recap.
Saying. I mean, these finals EPs are getting. I mean, we could talk about what was it? Van Gundy said after Kevin Love like hugged Vincent after he missed him in the corner.
He said,
I should give him another hug.
That was funny. No, why did he hug him? He was like, "Man, my bad, I didn't pass it to you," and he just like hugged him.
I think we got to cut it. This is getting
these
dry.
These finals episodes have been shorter, obviously, but there's not much to talk about. We have a lot lined up when the finals are over, though, and we're gonna go back to some banker EPs, but we're not gonna do a top 10 scorers of all time when Game 2 just finished. I don't know. That's the reality of it. But
I'm just waiting for the John Morant decision. I don't even care about the finals.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy episode. That's gonna be a crazy episode. What's your predict? Oh wait, we already did that last episode. We already did that.
I think he's out the year.
I say he's out the year. I said he's out the year last episode. I think he's still out the year, because Adam Silver knows what he's doing. He's like, I don't want to take away attention from the finals. Why are you even mentioning that the decision was made then? Why are you telling us that there was a decision made?
He's the man.
He's like, he goes up to the camera. He's like, I'm not telling you. Like, bro, like he's like, I don't want to take away attention from the finals.
He called for a press conference to say that he doesn't want to take attention away from the finals.
hey guys, listen, I'm not that type of guy, but just so you know, we decided Ja Morant's decision. We're not gonna take away attention from the Nuggets and Heat series, but we decided Ja Morant's decision, and you're gonna find out after the series. Like, come on, he knew what he was doing. I mean, big ups
he was
to him.
giving Instagram NBA pages content.
Yeah, like big ups to him. He was smart because everybody's gonna tune into that press conference now.
For sure.
Because nobody would tune into a random Adam Silver press conference. Let's be honest, right? Everybody is waiting on Adam Silver the second. Bro, Woj probably slipped him a few bucks. Woj's Twitter is gonna go crazy. We all know it. But this was a great episode. Episode 78, was it?
I think so, yeah.
We appreciate you guys for listening. Hopefully, we have as many of these episodes as we can. I'm hoping for 7 games. Hoop is hoping for 6. But we will see you guys in episode 79.
I'm hoping for 7. I just think it's 6.
We will see you guys in episode 79. Peace.